Have you heard the saying 99% of gamblers quit before they win big? What if I told you the opposite is true? Most gamblers do win big, usually early on, but that's exactly where the problem starts. That big win is the hook. It rewires your brain, making you chase the next high, and suddenly, no win ever feels like enough. In this video, we're breaking down the truth about big wins and how they fuel gambling addiction. I'll explain how your brain gets hijacked and why the cycle of gambling feels endless. But here's the good news. You can break free. So stick around because by the end of this video, I'll show you how to stop gambling from controlling your life so you can find something even more rewarding. Think back to that first time you won big. It wasn't just about the money. It was about the feeling. Lights seemed brighter, sounds seemed sharper. Your heart was racing like you'd conquered the world. For the first time in a long time, you felt lucky, special, like you had unlocked a secret everyone else was too blind to see. You told yourself you'd stop while you were ahead, but a week later, you were back. Not because you needed the money. It was about something else. You wanted to feel that again. The rush, the power, the electric sense that anything was possible. But this time, it didn't come as easily. You played longer. You bet bigger. And when you finally won, it felt different, smaller somehow. And you thought, maybe next time it'll be better. And so the chase began. $100 turned into 1,000, 1,000 into 5. The numbers stopped mattering really. Wins that would have once taken your breath away now barely even made your heart skip. And the losses, you just brushed them off as a rough patch, telling yourself the next win will fix everything. Every near miss fueled the fire. You would sit there thinking, I was so close, just one more. And when the money ran out, you'd promise yourself it was the last time. But the next day, you were back, chasing the same high that never came. Even if you hit it big again, it just never felt like enough. Sure, there may be a moment of excitement, but it fades fast, leaving behind that familiar emptiness. Because the truth is, it wasn't really about the money. It was about the sense of control, the thrill of the win, the idea that you were capable of beating the system. But here's the thing no one talks about. No matter how much you win, you'll always want more. You're not chasing the money. You're chasing a ghost of that first high, that first rush. And every time you think you caught it, it slips through your fingers, pulling you deeper and deeper into the cycle. And that's the trap. It's the promise of a win that will finally feel like enough, but it's a promise gambling will never keep. That rush you feel is caused by a surge of dopamine. It's a chemical in your brain that's often called the feel-good neurotransmitter. But dopamine isn't just about making you feel good. It's actually a learning neurotransmitter that teaches your brain what's worth chasing and what behaviors should be repeated. Think back to our evolutionary past. Dopamine's primary role was to motivate us to seek out things that were essential for survival, like food, water, and shelter. Resources were scarce, so our brains rewarded us with dopamine every time we unexpectedly found or achieved something valuable. But here's the catch. Gambling hijacks this ancient reward system, and when you experience a big win, your brain's reward center doesn't know the difference between something truly essential for survival and an unexpected reward from gambling. It just sees the reward and floods your brain with dopamine, reinforcing the idea that gambling is a behavior worth repeating. And this keeps you trapped, chasing as if your survival depends on it. This is why early big wins are so powerful. It creates a feedback loop. Your brain starts associating gambling with massive rewards, and it motivates you to go back again and again to try to recreate that high. Over time, when you lose, your brain still remembers that early win and keeps you hooked, thinking maybe it can happen again. In a way, gambling turns your brain into a predator chasing prey. But that prey doesn't exist, and that's the power of dopamine. It's a motivator, but it's also a trap when it's tied to something as unpredictable and destructive as gambling. And this is where addiction starts. Those early wins don't just feel good, they change the way your brain works. They convince you that gambling is the key to achieving that next reward, even when the odds are stacked against you. And even when you do momentarily walk away with a win, you've already lost, because something shifts after that big win, something you can't quite explain at first. It's like a voice in the back of your mind whispering, why work so hard when it's this easy? And that voice sticks with you, even when you're not gambling. You start to see the world differently. It's like there's a shortcut no one else knows about, and you found it. At work, you might catch yourself zoning out, staring at your paycheck, and what used to feel like a reward for hard work now feels small, insignificant. And how could it not after you've won thousands in just an instant? You stop imagining promotions and new opportunities. Everyday life seems slow, boring, and exhausting. Why grind it out when you've seen what's possible in one spin, in one hand, in one bet? The dreams of maybe starting your own business or creating something you're proud of, they feel distant now. You tell yourself, I'll focus on that when I strike it big again. But gambling keeps pulling you back, convincing you there's no need for a long-term plan when a big win is just around the corner. And that dream slips further and further away, replaced by the fantasy of instant success. And saving or long-term investing, those ideas start to feel pointless. In the past, you might have imagined what you could build over time, like buying a house, growing your savings, and creating stability for your future. But now, stability feels boring. Why wait years to see the returns when you've felt the thrill of doubling your money in seconds? You stop thinking about the future at all. Everything becomes about now, this moment, this bet, this next win. Slowly, gambling starts taking over. And it's not just about your money. It's about your focus, your energy, your sense of purpose. The things that once mattered to you, like your goals, your passions, or even people you love, they start to fade into the background. They're still there, but they feel distant, like they belong to someone else. You're too busy chasing that next high, telling yourself that one more win will fix everything. But deep down, you know it won't. Because even when you win, it's never enough. The thrill fades, and you're left with the realization that while you were chasing money, you were losing something more important. Your motivation, your potential, your dreams. And no jackpot, no matter how big, can give those back. If you've been caught in this cycle, I want you to know you are not alone. It's easy to feel isolated and like no one understands what you're going through. But the truth is, so many people have walked the same path, and many of them have found their way out. The biggest win isn't betting on a game. It's betting on yourself. Imagine waking up and feeling at peace, no longer consumed by thoughts of chasing the next win or trying to recover what you lost. Picture yourself rebuilding the relationships that mean the most to you, rediscovering the dreams and goals that you thought were gone forever. That's what's waiting for you when you take the first step toward change. And it all starts with a moment of honesty. Look at where gambling has taken you, not with shame, but with clarity. Realize the toll that it's taken over your time, your money, and your well-being. That awareness is key to taking back control. Then reach out. You don't have to do this alone. Talk to somebody you trust, a close friend, a family member, or someone who can guide you professionally. Opening up might feel scary, but it's incredibly freeing. And when you share your struggle, you take the first step toward breaking its hold over you. And you don't have to figure out everything all at once. Support groups and counselors exist to help you find your way one step at a time. And as you start to take those steps forward, you'll start to see what's been waiting for you all along. Your life doesn't have to revolve around gambling anymore. You can focus on the things that truly matter, whether it's building a career, reconnecting with loved ones, or simply finding joy in the small, meaningful moments you once overlooked. Recovery is a journey, and it won't be perfect. Every step you take is proof that you are stronger than this addiction. You're not just walking away from gambling. You're walking toward a life of freedom, purpose, and fulfillment. So if you're ready to take that first step today, apply for a complimentary consultation at the link in the description where we can meet virtually and see if working together feels right for you. And remember, recovery isn't just about stopping gambling. It's about becoming the best version of yourself.